Hello, and welcome to the AI Trends podcast series by NKS. Tai Nei Tri Tuk, Mat Champ Tương Lai. Q Ling and Boss Sunny are here to bring you the newest developments in artificial intelligence, practical use cases, and inspiring ideas transforming the way we live and work. Let's dive in.
You know that unwritten rule in technology, right? That bigger is always better.
Right, yeah.
Like you buy the biggest engine, the most processing power, and you just assume you're winning. But looking at corporate IT departments right now, I mean, that rule's completely falling apart.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at this fascinating piece from NKS showing that over 60% of CIOs and CTOs, according to Gartner, by the way, they're actively ditching massive AI models for small language models, or SLMs.
It is a massive pivot. I mean, for the last couple of years, everyone just wanted the trillion parameter behemoths, because it felt safe. Mm-hmm. But enterprise leaders are finally realizing that running those massive models for daily business tasks is incredibly inefficient.
Totally. So our mission for you today is to unpack the practical business applications here, explore the security benefits of on-premise deployment, and reveal a concrete 3-step implementation guide for tech leaders.
Sounds good. So let's start with that inefficiency. I've heard it compared to renting a multi-million-dollar supercomputer just to calculate your grocery bill.
That is exactly it. Yeah, think about what happens when you prompt a massive model. You're activating billions of neural pathways, routing data through this enormous architecture just to, say, summarize a 3-page HR policy.
Which is wild when you think about it.
Right. You are paying API compute costs for a model that knows the capital of every country and how to write complex Python code when you literally only need it to read a PDF.
So most of that processing power is just sitting there, basically burning money on irrelevant knowledge.
Exactly. By shrinking the footprint to that 1 billion to 14 billion parameter range, you can cut compute costs by up to 80%.
Wait, 80%?
Yeah, up to 80%. And because the model is physically smaller, fine-tuning it takes hours instead of weeks.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, you can use these training techniques where you basically freeze the core model and only tweak a tiny specialized adapter layer right on top of it.
Which keeps the latency incredibly low, right? The source mentions response times under half a second.
Under half a second, yeah.
That makes them totally viable for real-time applications, like automated customer care, contract analysis, instant internal queries. But okay, speed and cost savings are great, obviously. But if I'm handing over proprietary financial data, the deal breaker for enterprise businesses is always privacy.
Oh, absolutely. That is the real driver here, I think. A model light enough to run on local hardware means you can deploy it entirely on-premise or on a private cloud.
Okay, so your sensitive company data never even crosses the corporate firewall.
Right, it never reaches a third-party cloud provider. You get total legal compliance and data security.
But wait, I have to push back on the logic here a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
If you shrink an AI from a trillion parameters down to 7 billion and then lock it in a basement server that's cut off from the global internet, aren't you fundamentally building a dumber AI?
Well, it seems counterintuitive, but the data actually shows otherwise.
Really? How does that work?
So the source notes that when you take a 7 billion parameter SLM and you fine-tune it strictly on standardized, high-quality internal company data, you actually see about a 35% increase in accuracy.
A 35% increase?
Yeah.
For those specific tasks, you mean, compared to a generic massive model?
Exactly. Because it is deeply specialized to the business's niche. It's acting as a specialist rather than a generalist.
Right. It doesn't need to know everything on the internet. It just needs to perfectly understand, your specific corporate jargon or your internal workflows.
Oh, precisely.
Okay, so if you're a tech leader listening to this and you want that highly accurate, highly secure local model, how do you actually execute the pivot without completely failing? The NKS piece lays out a strict 3-step guide.
Yeah, and it starts heavily with data. Step 1 is you have to standardize a high-quality internal data set. You can't just plug an SLM into some messy shared drive, The model's accuracy relies entirely on the clarity of the data it's fed.
That makes sense. Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. Then, step 2, once that's clean, you select the right SLM architecture. The article calls out models like Llama 3 8B, Phi 3, or Mistral 7B.
Because those are optimized for enterprise hardware.
Yeah, they are built specifically for that constraint. And then step 3, which is crucial, you test on a hybrid infrastructure.
To evaluate the actual load, right. Because the biggest mistake companies make is going all in too fast. Just blindly chasing the largest AI on the market without defining a specific business problem.
Right, you want to balance processing between a private cloud and local servers first. Start with a small proof of concept for just one department before scaling it company-wide.
Solve one business problem perfectly, then expand. I love that. So, I mean, this whole shift really proves that SLMs aren't just a fleeting trend. They are a strategic turning point, giving businesses technological autonomy, optimized costs, and protected IP.
It is a fundamental change in how we view AI utility in the workplace.
Absolutely. Which leaves us with something provocative for you to chew on. If a small, laser-focused AI running on a local server can outsmart a massive, trillion-parameter giant in the workplace, well, how long until every single employee has their own custom, completely private AI assistant running directly on their laptop?
That is a wild thought.
Right. Something for you to think about until our next deep dive.